Hi guys, welcome again. This time I have a special game for you. This is from the same tournament of champions of the previous tournaments. This is a tournament that is played turn-based, so it's not real time. We have a lot of time to think. This is actually a correspondence, and this is round 5. So far I was doing pretty okay. I'm like third in the standings, and here I was very happy to get Halikarnassos. And this game, I think, proves that even when you are playing like one of the easier wonders, I would say, you can still make a lot of choices. There's still a lot of tough decisions, and you can still really play the table to your advantage. So buckle up if you think playing green as Halikarnassos is easy, and sometimes it is. This is proof that sometimes it is not. So let's just go. Here, of course, I'm choosing B, and honestly, I expect everywhere B, to be honest. Maybe here I will expect A on Olympia. And that's exactly what happens, like with an A on Olympia. So here, let's just talk about strategy briefly. We are after Ephesus, so that's the situation where I would call that Ephesus has a priority over us for green. The reason for that is that when I'm not sure how camera is set up, but when the cards go up, like in the second era, which is the most important era for the green cards, so when the cards go, Ephesus has first dibs on all the cards. Ephesus is one of the wonders that's very easy to splash the green, especially in five player count. There is only one school and only one library. So those cards in the second age for the tablets are very valuable. And if I myself do not get them, it will be really hard to do. So coming into this game, I wasn't even plan on doing green. I would much rather do like a resource strategy, for example, and just, see kind of maybe Olympia and Ephesus in green, and I can just, get some easy red wins over Ephesus. They are usually pretty easy, and just go and do my points that way. But opening this hand, what can you do? There are honestly 3 picks that you can make in this hand, I would say. So there is Apothecary, there is Theater, and there is one of the altars. In 5 player, just because there is only one Pantheon and 5 players and 2 altars, I don't really value altar that much. Like, it's still better than Theater, but is it much better? Probably not. So I didn't want to open with either of the green cards. Here I opted for Apothecary, and my hope coming into this game is that Ephesus is discouraged by me going into green, and I will do everything in my power here to stop Ephesus from going green. And let's see if I can achieve that. So here, Apothecary is my pick. And so far so good. I was very scared about early Scriptorium. And here is the pick 2. And this is where it starts to get interesting. So, if I throw Workshop from this hand, I have a really, really good chance of getting even free free greens on the first stage, and that would be kind of massive. But I don't want to do that for a couple of reasons. First, it paints a target on my back, and in those high-level games, people will sometimes, and maybe even often, bury a lot if they see that one person got free in the first round, so I don't want to do that. Still, if I get free, there can be, just because it's 5 player and the spread can be so bad, I'm still not even guaranteed 5 cards out of H2, and if you get free in the first one, you really need to kinda get free in the second one as well, and that's sometimes hard to do. And if I throw here, Ephesus, I passed him Scriptorium twice. I'm not sure if he's interested in any card of that from this hand. He probably can be enticed by Guard Tower here. But my plan going here was to play it safe, kinda. In the tournament, I don't need to win all the games, but if I'm like second in every game, I'm probably going to win it. So here I decided to buy Scriptorium off of him. I need to secure those greens, and I really need him discouraged from playing the greens. That was my plan, and just my hope that from the hand that I just passed to him, he will pick one of the altars. And that's exactly what happened. So here, I really thought about it again. Like, you might seem that it's easy lumberyard, for example. And a lot of the time it will be easy lumberyard. But the problem with that, I eventually picked lumberyard, spoiler. But the problem is passing his trading post to Ephesus. By my picks, and suddenly, like, me paying him, him getting a red from this one, he's suddenly starting to get a lot of great cards, and he's starting to become my number one threat. So East trading post to Giza, who is looking to gain a lot of resources, and like I see this hand passing further down. Giza will probably pick lumber from this hand as well. This is starting to get ore stone pit, which is equally worse for me. So this is starting to get problematic. So I thought, do I need to steal the East trading post? I thought I would steal it, honestly, if it wasn't so that I don't know if the Ephesus is planning to do resources. Like, I can see him totally playing Lumberyard, then getting Caravanserai. I will have all those cards on the screen, by the way, so just check. Usually there are all the left side on the screen, so you can follow my process of thought. So if he just goes, Lumber, then Caravanserai, I'm suddenly not looking that great with my East Trading Post for just like free resources. That's why I decided against it. So here I'm getting squeezed on red, which is okay. And here is another, like, I would say maybe tough one. I would like to get both press and glassworks usually, because, I'm still looking to buying school, and I need press for that. I would also probably like Claypool, and Pawn Shop is not a bad pickup for me either, but I can only make one pick from this hand, so looking at all the cards that I want to play on one hand, I am expecting problems on the hands 5 and 6. So this is hand 4. I decided to go Glassworks. I just cannot get stuck in the second age, and there is a very, very good chance that I will get stuck in second age if I pick press and I don't have access to Glassworks. I basically need access to Glassworks, and that's why I'm picking it. I need to play it a little bit safe here. So, hand 5, and kinda the problem starts. Like, Tavern is okay here, but I know, like, I kinda expect what comes after. And this is exactly what happens. So I theoretically could have, for example, picked a single ore there to play the barracks, but really, that doesn't sound smart. And you might think, okay, but if you played like, if you threw the workshop, you could have like Scriptorium from this one. But I think Scriptorium would have been buried if I hadn't had it right now. So like Koshk here would have probably buried this. So here I have no choice. Like, I do not expect the workshop to not get buried. Sorry for the pause. So I cannot like risk building my wonder stage and getting kinda nothing. So I just have to throw again. And I already selected my choice, but this is a very, like, this hand is both good and bad for me. It's good because, I do get some greens and I do pick from this hand twice. So this could have been way worse if it was for our hand 2, for example. And this hand is stacked, like really stacked. And like they will pick walls, they will pick caravanserai, and they are probably, like, there are at least 2 people interested in the quarry. So I will get my 2 picks. So what I really need to pick from this one is either library and school, because laboratory and dispensary are doubled in the second age in 5 players. So I just picked library because it's cheaper, basically. And I do not expect very much troubles getting like the last the cards that chain from school. I didn't expect not necessarily that much trouble getting them. But this hand, like, this will come to play a lot with my choices here. So, for example, in this one, just because it's correspondence and I had a lot of time to think, you will probably see me switching here. Like, I switched back and forth. And I picked Card House eventually from this hand. And I think that's a good pickup. Like, I cannot pick Laboratory because it's just too expensive. And I might get stuck with Laboratory on the last hand, and then I cannot build anything. So I need to be flexible. I need to pick either Card House here or maybe Vineyard, but Vineyard seems too weak. I already threw twice for money. 4th would be just too much. So here I have to go Card House, in my opinion, just because what I saw on hand 1. And this is like, are you even playing green when you are not playing green? But the important part is to realize that I'm the only green drafter at the table. And that might seem like an auto win, but if you see at my points, and if you see, for example, at Ephesus points, and like what position he is right now in the game, this is a different story. My main advantage and my main way of getting gold is usually through gray cards and people buying them off me in the 3rd age. But I'm next to Olympia, who is likely to get all of the stuff for free from the 2nd ability. And Ephesus just built a cloth for himself. I'm just going to highlight it. Build a loom that gives him cloth. And here this ability will let him build a lot of stuff for free. So this is the hand that I actually wanted to see. I'll gladly pick dispensary out of it. And this is what I didn't want to see. So lab is actually taken. This hand looks like hot garbage, honestly. And I decided to go for the brickyard. 2 reasons. My first stage, I really like to get it going. And the second one is actually guild for red cards. I think it's spice guilds. I always don't know how to accent that word. So spice gives me right now 6 points, and I expect it to give me even more. In the more the players, the more likely, that's the word, you are to see the guilds. Here it's 70% with 5 players, up from 50% at 3 players. So here I was thinking like, okay, if the spice come, then it's shaping up to be much better. So up to this point, I'd say this era is going fine. But then we get a hand like this. And one thing that you can do is to take a risk and dive into the pool. But I expected nothing to be here. I think that actually I make a mistake here, and I think that I should have seen that the cog from the first era is there. I think, like, given that they haven't buried that, I should have expected it to be there. So I probably should have buried from this hand. That would be like the most optimal play. But I was unsure, and I just for some reason decided not to check it thoroughly with the replay. So here I decided to play the Foundry, just so I have access to the last cog that will be played, the Observatory. And the last one comes, and I have to pick school, and I have to pick it naturally. I cannot build it from my wonder stage because, you know, I just have to No, I think I actually do this. Yeah. Sorry, sorry for that. I think I actually decided to check it here with the school, just so I can see if something is in the pool that I missed. So that's what I do here. And I can see now that the cog is there right now, but I still build school, of course, because the cog from the first era doesn't give me any chains. And let's just see. We are starting round 3, and I have 17 points. I think at this point in the game, I'm the lowest scoring player. Like, if the games end right now, I am last. I do not have amazing resources. And, you know, kind of, there is not much going for me, right? One thing I want to address, on the last hand that you can see in the era, like in the second era, if there was a laboratory and dispensary, that's why I couldn't build the laboratory for 6, because if both of them come to me, then I'm just kind of screwed, you know. But fortunately, school came. But that's partially because this guy buried actually laboratory, because, you know, he saw that I have no cogs for myself. Hopefully you cannot hear that annoying sound. So here, let's just go with this one. There is a Senate, and there is a study that I can pick up. And there is a workers guild that I might be partially interested in. So naturally, like, your natural instinct will be to play the study, but I actually think that's wrong. Study, of course, is amazing here, and I'm probably still aiming for 3 sets. But I decided to go for the Senate for the simple reason that I might need to pick up the workshop from the discard with my second stage wonder, and I might not have the money to buy the last stage wonder. So I kinda need the study to get back to me, and there is actually a pretty high chance that it does. As you can see, there is a tight race going on reds. Like, Rhodos is actually winning with Giza just by his wonder, which I think is a pretty good strategy here, honestly. But if Rhodos starts to build up, suddenly Olympia might feel the pressure. Also, if Giza starts to build up, Ephesus might feel the pressure. So it's all like, you know, tingling a little bit. Also, some players might be scared that I actually build double red. And I'm not looking like a threat at the moment. And I'm not looking like a threat at all. If like they count the points, and they actually have a lot of time to count, so they should count properly. So here, Senate for me. Green Guild, that was a little unhappy. And here is another funny pick. Here I'm employing a strategy what I call like the happy green drafter, I would say, like the happy, like, you know, you happily drafting green but making everybody unhappy. So here I'm picking Spice Guild. Right now it's 7, which is a lot. It's the same as University, so it's actually better because I'm not giving anyone points. But also the greens are really bad for everyone. So let's say I pick Spice from this hand. What does Ephesus gain from this one? Not like he's interested in Spice necessarily, but just by, you know, taking out some of the cards that matter to them, I'm gaining, I'm like making my picks better. But the more important part is that there is another university in some of those hands coming. There might be a time for me when university is the only pick. If I get university now, or if I get study now, that it's likely to get its way on the last hand for me, I'm cutting myself short of a great picks from some of the hands. So here I think the only pick that makes sense is the Spice Guild. This menu needs to stop getting in my way. Okay. And as you can see, some of the people are already like forced into some not the best picks, I would say. For example, this one, Haven for 2. That's pathetic. This one is actually pretty good, but you know, second-hand gardens that you have to pay for. No, he actually just used Zeus power to do that. I don't know. Maybe that's even worse. So here, this is the good one. I would prefer Observatory and Lodge to be on separate hands, obviously, but I'm very happy to pick Observatory from this hand. And this is a big one. And this is where I want you to pause it and think what you would done in this hand. So 3, 2, 1, revealing. I'm actually not picking University here. But you already knew that, like, you know, this hand looks weird, so why would I, you know, pause to make you pick University? But that's actually, I might do that someday, just to trick you. But here, I'm actually burying fortifications to build the workshop from the first era. Just to have a chance of getting 3 green sets. Because right now I'm missing 2 cogs and 1 compass. 1 cog is in the discard, so I can build it whenever I want. 1 cog is likely to get to me on the last hand, the study, or maybe I can get it from the discard on the last hand. And there is 1 compass that's coming my way in the next round, because I still haven't seen it. Nobody has any reason to bury it so far, and the only berries that we've seen are from the hands that we've already seen. So I will just take you through the journey of others people's perspective in this one. So here we are looking at the perspective of Olympia. Sorry, that's maybe a little bit too soon. Let's just play this one. As you can see, I went back and forth. And I got it. So here, let's just see. Okay, so here I have Academy and Scientist Guild. Academy was the one coming to me. I knew that. And I think he had no reason to bury it. I also knew that there is Arena on his hand that he can build, and he should build. Or Haven, for that matter. So, you know, he could choose one of 2. Burying Academy seems really bad. I didn't know about Scientist Guild. If I knew about Scientist Guild, I've actually would have picked I've actually picked the University, just because it would be safer. Funny thing, just doing the math, I will have like a note on the screen. If you have 2, 2, and 5, it's almost the same as 3 sets. I think it's like 1 less. But I will have the math here, so you can check it out for yourself. Pause it or something. So, Academy here. That feels like a natural pick, unless it's actually Scientist Guild. I thought that I cannot play Scientist Guild, just because it might be, you know, a little bit worse if I cannot build the last stage of my wonder. So Academy, like, if I'm getting study from the last hand, Academy feels just better. If I'm not getting study, then potentially it's pretty weak for me to get it. I'm actually getting gardens, like that's the worst that can happen. So scientist here is not that bad. But let's look at other people's perspective for that hand. So here he has castrum study. Like he can bury study or he can play castrum, because burying castrum doesn't seem like a smart idea. And he actually, like, I counted this all out. When I was doing this, I counted this all out. I have the hands mapped. I knew exactly what they had on hand. So here, and I thought everybody is doing this too, because this is a correspondence game. So here he has to play castrum. This is his way of getting, I think, third place, maybe second, but I think third place is his if he plays the castrum here. And I was sure that he was gonna play the castrum. Why? Because as you can see already, he has only one advantage over Rhodos, and he's not getting any red from the hand, probably. So if we come to see Rhodos doesn't pass him any red cards. He is actually just passing him hot garbage, and he knows that. Like, he's seen this hand first, and he can see what other players have picked from this hand. So, he's not getting anything good. This is Rhodos' perspective. So on the last hand, he has to bury. And actually, if we just go a little bit on all those replays, so Rhodos here actually picks study, which is kind of natural for him. I cannot blame him for that. I was hoping maybe he'll go for university. And here he gets Arsenal. And Olympia could have anticipated that, because Arsenal, he knew that Arsenal was on this hand. He knew that Giza was out of Wonder Stages to bury. So he cannot build Arsenal twice, so he knew that Arsenal is coming to Rhodos. Like, I was sure that Olympia has this mapped. And here, as you can see, he picks the study, like he buries the study. He passes Castrum to me, and he is suddenly losing. Like, whenever Rhodos will pick up the last red, he's just losing his red that he spent 4 cards on, which doesn't seem great. He has a great guild, a 10-pointer right now, but that's what's happening. Here he can, I don't know, play the university, I guess, to rob me of some points, but that doesn't sound that amazing also. So he also has Lodge here, so I have a pick from the discard if I want to. So let's get back to my perspective. Here I'm picking Academy. I hope you didn't get too confused about which perspective is which. So here I have another choice, and I have to count all the points. As you can see, suddenly, just because I have no dead turns, like every turn for me was at least 5-pointer, I haven't wasted any on reds that don't give me nothing, and like, I had some turns that give me 8 points, I had turns that gave me another 8 points, so that's just been working great for me. So here, I just have to count if by playing Gardens I can win. I know that Ephesus is playing Wonder Stage, and I know that he's burying Philosopher's Guild. So here, Ephesus is gaining 4 gold, 5 points. So at his gold total, that would trip him, like that would be actually 26. So that's actually 1 point more. So that's making it 6 points from his gold count. And also, he has 12 over me from winning red. He actually invested so much in red that he's actually winning. Here 12 points. So that's 18 points. That goes up to 60. That's actually not how you should count it, but that's easier to count for me. Like, I count red as 12, like gaining 12 instead of players getting losses. So let's say that he's actually at 60. He's actually at 58. So me, in this scenario, I will get 60. So that's the exact same score, or like 58, if we count the losses properly. But I will lose on the tiebreaker. So Gardens is no good to me. The other way that I can do it is actually I can bury, and lose 4 gold, that's 1 point, but gain 7 out of placing one of the greens. So that would be actually -1 plus 7, so that's +6, so that's 61. So that actually puts me over him. And the only way that he can win with me is if Giza pays him 2 gold. Or 1 gold, but he cannot pay him 1 gold. So I can beat Ephesus in this scenario, but I have to count also the Olympia. So Olympia, it's actually better to play the Gardens, and Olympia, as you can see right now, has more points. But I counted that Olympia actually has nothing on his hand. This is Olympia's hand again, and he's losing red. So Olympia is not a threat. So with that in mind, I can just play this, but I had to count it all out. And I had this hand like I had notes with every player, with every player's last hand, so I can like assume what choices they're going to have. So as you can see, there is a red war going. I actually grabbed, sorry, I clicked too much, but I grabbed one of the greens. There were plenty of them. Because I knew that their green was coming from this hand, because there is no need for him to play the lodge here. And that's it. I win by this 1 point. A very precise victory. And I think I also had, like, as you can see, Giza here. I also had him mapped by picking Siege probably, and I knew that he can get it for free. I actually knew that. So here, as you can see, Tom was here firmly second. Koshk here, if he played the red, he would have, you know, he would have actually gotten a third place. If he was like a little bit luckier, maybe he could have even got second place. And that Giza push, of course, if you play 2 cards for nothing in the last round, even if you get good guilds, and if you have 7 cards for resources, that's always going to be a hard game. So that was it. With that in mind, I'm currently in the lead in the tournament, but this is still, we are only halfway through, so I'm not sure. Maybe if I release more videos how I play, maybe people will just, you know, counter me. That's always scary with this video creation. But hopefully you guys enjoy this one, and you know, I just wanted to point out how many decisions can there be even when you are playing like green Halikarnassos. Because I really, like, if somebody said to me that I'm winning this game in H3, I would say no way. Like, I've seen a path, like, you know, just people going for red, but usually that doesn't happen. And I think that the spread wasn't that kind to me. Like, it was okay, but I haven't like got like godly spread or something. I was actually too forced to get something like Foundry, something like Brickyard and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and until later, see you, bye.